Oh, I hope it stays in focus because it's like 5 feet away from me. So, if you have seen the last few car show videos that I posted on my channel in the last month or so, you probably noticed, or at least I hope that you noticed, because that's the point of me buying this thing, you probably noticed that there is something slightly different about the way it's filmed as opposed to all of the car show videos that I have uploaded in the past couple years of me running this YouTube channel. And those major differences are thanks to this thing. This is the Zhiyun Crane 2, and it is an electronics camera stabilizer, much like things like the Ronin or the Ghost, but on a much smaller, more compact scale. Even if you're not a car enthusiast and you're watching this video is for you too. But with that being said, let me introduce myself. My name is Zach. I am 20 years old. I am a mostly self-taught photographer and videographer, and I do all kinds of photography and like videography, but mostly my trade consists of filming and shooting bands and cars. Today we're going to go over this thing. So with that being said, we're going to do a little overview of this thing, what came in the box, some of the features, and why I bought it, and benefits of using a gimbal and things of that sort. In the end, we'll also go into some pricing. Alright, well this is literally the most awkward filming angle I have ever done in my life, but why don't we actually get inside the box? So, when you order the crane, they send you a black box, and the materials that it's made out of seem rather sturdy. It'll survive the average spills and drops that the user would encounter, like out in the field, or moving it like from a car, or around the house, anything like that. It looks like it'll protect it pretty well. Now, it's probably not going to survive like a drop off a waterfall or anything like that, but I can't imagine you'd be getting yourself in a situation where you would drop it off a waterfall, but hey, what do I know? Let's actually open this thing. Alright, so mind you, I have opened and used this before, so not everything is exactly the way it would sit when you first order a package and open it. But anyway, first you get a strap that is meant to carry this case. I haven't actually used it yet, but I'm sure I'll find some use out of it out in the field one day. Next, you have some grip tape that is meant to be wrapped around the handles, so if you're ever out like filming on a hot day and your palms get sweaty, it won't slip out of your hand and hit the ground, which would be less than ideal. So I'm probably going to wrap the handle in this thing at some point because my palms get really sweaty. You have the base plate that is meant for connecting the camera to the top of the crane. We'll talk a little about that later. Your instruction manual. Then you have your tripod, which is meant for balancing the crane as well as just threading it to the bottom of it, so if you're ever out like shooting something and your arms get tired, you can just set it down nicely and not have to lay it down on the ground flat or anything like that. You have a long lens support, which this is pretty standard. Most camera gimbals come with something like this. I don't really use any long lenses when filming, so I haven't gotten any use out of this yet, but I'm sure I will one day. Obviously we have the crane itself, which we'll get into that in a minute or so, so I'll put that to the side. And you have your various connection cables. They have cables for Sony cameras, Nikon cameras, and 2 types of Canon cameras. What this stuff is like connecting the camera to the crane so you can like activate like photo shooting and like recording and like follow focus, stuff like this. I haven't had any luck using this yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. Just showing you that it's there. Then you have your ever so important 1963 edition penny for tightening screws and things of that nature. Years may vary. Then you have your charger for the 3 batteries that power the crane, along with a USB cable that they include. So Zhiyun also has an app that they've developed for their cranes, and I really haven't had like any luck using it. It's meant to like calibrate your motors and like also adjust like the position of like top motor and sensitivity and stuff like that. I just don't really have luck using this kind of stuff. Like tried using the app for the Ronin, and I didn't really have much luck with that either. And I'm probably just a dumbass, but I'm sure I'll figure it out one day. Alright, so let's go over why I actually bought this thing. So prior to me using this, I was using a camera cage and a slider dolly. Nothing wrong with those things, like whatsoever. They are perfectly fine for filming car shows and things of that sort. Except with a camera cage, since it's just something that you hold and there's no electronic gyros or any sort of stabilizers in it, it still picks up on like all of the shakiness that your hands are creating or any little thing. It's smooth, but it's not really that smooth. So with this, it pretty much eliminates all shakiness and you just get nice, smooth, like very cinematic looking shots. And with the slider dollies, when you use them, they're actually perfectly smooth, except they're bulky, heavy, and just a pain in the ass to carry around. But with this, you get the cinematic smoothness without the bulk of a slider dolly. It's much lighter than using a tripod and a slider dolly. It's also significantly less spacious. And with me daily driving a Miata, that's pretty important to me. Let's actually get into the setup of this thing. I have to film with my phone because that involves using the camera, and I don't have two DSLRs. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to know, these arrows. There are arrows on the base plate as well as the base plate on the stabilizer, I guess that's what you call it. So you're going to want to make sure that they will be facing the same direction, otherwise they're not going to go on properly. So you're going to want to have your camera lens facing the opposite direction of this arrow. I have made this mistake so many times when first starting out with this thing. I'm still first starting out with this thing. I'm only had it for a couple weeks. Make sure that these arrows are facing the same direction and your camera is facing the opposite direction of these arrows. Also, you're going to want to have that sticker facing up, obviously. 3 motors as you're going to be adjusting. You're going to have your side motor, your back motor, and your bottom motor. This isn't necessarily a step-by-step guide on how to use this thing, but I'll do a little overview on how I set this thing up. Alright, so first thing we want to do, obviously, is take your base plate, take your camera, take your penny. You're going to want to put the base plate in your camera, tighten that. Make sure that's straight, obviously. And you're going to slide that on there using the silver button that you would find on the side of it. So first thing you want to do is have your camera to be shoot ready, which means if you want to put a lens hood on it, a microphone, however far you want the lens zoom in and out, you're going to want to have it set up exactly the way you intend on filming, because I swear to God, littlest, uneven balance of weight will throw this thing off. I tried it. I threw a lens hood on this thing once when I had it balanced, and it just threw it completely off balance, and that weighs like an ounce. So just make sure that your camera is in the exact position that you're going to be filming with. So first you're going to want to balance the base plate, and to do that you're just going to want to slide the base plate back and forth until, in order to do that you're just going to want to slide it back and forth until it no longer falls forward or backward. Alright, that seems good, so you're going to want to tighten this up. Next, you're going to want to adjust the side motor. What you want to do here is turn the camera sideways, and you're going to want to move this, do a little micro, by the way, everything is little micro adjustments, because like I said, the slightest imbalance will throw it completely off. So you're going to do a little micro adjustments, and you're going to keep doing that until your camera will stay vertical with the ground under its own weight. Alright, so that seems good. Alright, so same thing with the back motor. You're going to want to keep doing micro adjustments on it until it stays horizontal with the ground under its own weight. So we're going to do that. Alright, so last one is going to be the bottom motor, and this one is by far the biggest pain in the ass because you have to turn the crane sideways. I'll loosen this. I'll keep adjusting it until when you pick it up, it should stay vertical to the ground. That's how you know that it is balanced. Alright, and that actually looks pretty good. Alright, so we're going to tighten that up. The easiest way to tell your camera is in balance is you should be able to move it either back, forth, side to side, and the camera should stay pretty much in the exact position that you leave it in. Or back motor needs to be adjusted a little bit more. Right, so now that looks pretty good. Alright, we have changed locations again because there is less sun glare over here. Also, I forgot to mention, you twist off the bottom plate. I'm sorry I can't show you because, like I said, I'm filming with my phone. And this is where your batteries are going to go. Zhiyun claims that the batteries should last 12 to 18 hours, and I can't really vouch for that because I was filming my friend do some work on his S13, and I started pretty much getting around 2 battery bars after about 4 hours. So I think that claim is a tad bit exaggerated, but it should hold up during some pretty long shoots without any problems. To turn it on, you're going to want to press the red power button. hold it for a couple seconds, and it should spring to life. Alright, so you got a couple different modes here that I will go into what they mean in a second. You have pan follow, you have lock, press it twice for follow, and then press it 3 times for a selfie mode. The camera will do that, which is pretty neat. Then press it 3 more times to get out of this mode. You have a joystick right here, which can make it go up and down. And in lock mode, you can go left, right, or up and down, pretty much every direction. Then you press it back into a pan follow mode to go to its original position. And to go into your menu, you would press down on this little directional thing. You can adjust your sensitivity, motor settings, camera settings, which is like for those cables that I showed you earlier. You can calibrate it, angle, reverse, and about. Now, I honestly don't know much about the menu settings in this thing, because like I said, I've only had it for a couple weeks. I'm still learning how to use it. I just repeat myself, this is just a little overview video to show you what I'm using now, not exactly an instructional video. Over here you have your follow focus adjustment, which again, it's meant to focus your camera when it's connected using those cables, which again, I have not figured out how to properly use yet, so I'm sure this will come in handy in some point in my life, but not right now. Important thing to point out is that you have measurement references on all of the adjustment points on the gimbal. I'm on the bottom, base plate, side motor, and back motor. Or until you can get this thing pretty much balanced by memory, it's usually a good idea to write down the numbers that you've adjusted this thing to, or take pictures of them. That's what I did when I first started using it. So if you ever can't get the thing balanced by memory, you can just look at the numbers that you've written down and balance it by doing that. Alright, so you can see that I have the gimbal on and that I am moving the handle and the camera is not moving with it, which is a good thing, because that is how you keep the smoothness of your shots. So in pan follow mode, it pretty much is what it says it is. If you pan, it will follow you. And you can go up, down, left, right, no matter which direction you point it in, it will follow wherever you point it. Right, so now I have switched it to lock mode. And what lock mode does is, see how I have the camera pointed at my phone right now? Now, if I go left or right, the camera will remain pointed at the exact spot to which I left it when I put it in lock mode. If you want to adjust it in lock mode, just use the joystick, and no matter what direction you point it in, it will remain locked on that subject, which is pretty cool. So now I have it in follow mode, and now it will follow every single one of my movements, including going down, up. It'll pretty much just do whatever I do with the handle. As opposed to pan follow mode, it will stay pretty much straight when I go up and down. It'll just follow me going left or right. And that Zhiyun is included in this crane is, I've heard people call it like a subtle off function, I guess. But when you turn it off by holding the power button for about 5 seconds or so, it'll just kind of slowly put the camera into a rest position, as opposed to other cranes, which I'm pretty sure the Ronin actually did this. When you turned it off, the camera would just like fall limp and possibly smash into your crane or do all kinds of not good stuff. However, with this, it kind of just slowly puts the camera into a rest position, which is good. I don't need my camera falling down and hitting my crane or anything like that. Alright, so final few things to say about this crane, which I probably actually should have said at the beginning of the video. Its maximum load would be 7 pounds, and this camera weighs nowhere near 7 pounds, so it's really not putting any load on it at all. This thing only weighs about 2 pounds. But if by chance you have a 7-pound camera, this thing will be able to support it. I think it weighs about 4 pounds, and with the added weight of my camera, it's probably like around 6 pounds or so. So it's not that heavy, although if you're using it with one arm, it can get pretty tiring. I do have a dual handle accessory for it, but it costs $129, so I would not be getting that right now, but I'm sure I'll get it one day. Carrying this thing around will be a lot easier. Alright, so pricing. On B&H Photography, which is where I bought this thing, it costs $749, which, as far as camera stabilizers go, that's not a bad price, considering that other bigger stabilizers like the Ghost, the Ronin, etc., they all cost well upwards of $1,000. And so far, I rented a Ronin M about a year, actually probably almost 2 years ago at this point. And unfortunately, I think I got a defective one because when I got it from the rental company, it had like all kinds of scratches and damage and stuff all over it, and it was like doing all kinds of crazy shit when I started up. But that was very heavy, and the balancing process was very difficult. This is not that heavy, and the balancing process is actually very easy. I actually got it on the first try when I first bought this thing. So the Ronin M and this thing might be in slightly different leagues as far as camera stabilizers go. But so far, I'm really happy with the way this thing has been performing and the whole setup processes and things of that nature. This thing cost $749, and I got an $80 warranty with it. So it was about $820 and change, which, like I said, as far as camera stabilizers go, that's actually a pretty decent price. I'm going to wrap this up by inserting some sample footage that I shot from car shows and me just like walking around with it and showing how smooth it is. But other than that, like I said, this was not an instructional video. It's kind of just like an overview video of just showing you the film setup that I'm going to be using from now on. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you guys with something next week. Alright, have an awesome day.